नमस्ते सभी को। और आज हमारे पीएमसी अफ्रीका के प्लेटफॉर्म पे we would love to welcome Narissa Alibhai, who is the co-founder of Conscious Kenya, and she is also a sound healing practitioner. So welcome, Narissa, and really we would like to know about more as the session starts, and we would like to know about how you have joined with Conscious Kenya and what the activities you are doing, and how later part we will do the we would like to have the meditation with your sound healing. So welcome, Narissa.
Thank you, Tajalji. I'm really happy to be here. Okay, so you'd like me to introduce myself first before we go in? Okay, so as Tajalji mentioned, my name is Narissa. Born and
Narissa,
raised
sorry to
in
interrupt.
Kenya.
Can you be a little louder?
Does this help if I'm closer to the microphone? Can you hear me now? Okay, I'll just speak into the mic. So yes, my name is Narissa, born and raised in Kenya, Nairobi, which is where, conscious living is the topic that we will be talking about today. So what I really wanted us to delve into and think about is how we can be conscious about our every moment, every day, every decision that we take, every word we speak, everything we eat, everything that we do, whether it's work, play, home, family, travel, whatever it is. So that's the overarching topic for today. And I think we're going to go a little bit into, I guess, my own experience of journeying into living consciously, which includes my journey through environmental activism and currently into a very deep spiritual practice and how these two combine and interact with each other. The underlying theme throughout this life story, I think, which goes along with the topic of the week in terms of eco-friendly lifestyle and environment, as well as the underlying theme of consciousness and how that applies in and manifests in the physical world as well as in the internal world, and how these two merge. So yeah, I think what we'll be doing is first we'll be screening an environmental documentary that I produced, which is called Lake Turkana. It's actually in northern Kenya, and the threats that it's faced, its significance, both spiritual and physical, and its value, what's going on there, what people have done to fight for the lake. And after that, we'll have a little bit of a discussion about, environment, activism, spirituality, both in general and my personal journey, open to also questions from the people participating. And in conclusion, we can do a little bit of a meditation with sound. I have a couple of my instruments here that I will engage with and with you to go on a little meditative journey. Yeah.
Thank you so much sharing the details in so brief, and we are really looking forward, and of course to watch the movie, and of course how you are the topic what we have shared today, living consciously. And that word, it's so amazing. It's two words, very simple, but living consciously. So, that's amazingly, we are going to watch your movie first, and then the interview and the question answer sessions and the meditation. So yes, let's start.
Now, the lake is in mortal danger.
The Ethiopian government's been embarking on these incredibly ambitious
In the dry, arid lands of northern Kenya lies an irreplaceable jewel. Lake Turkana.
First time that I saw Lake Turkana, I just saw out of this hot desert, this glistening blue, literally an ocean in the desert.
That lake is the largest desert lake in the world. It's this huge expanse of water, nearly 260 kilometers long, 30 kilometers wide, an average of 30 meters deep. There's a lot of water there.
It's a source of drinking water. It also supports the fisheries. Tourism, we also regard it as a laboratory for research.
But now, the lake is in mortal danger.
The Ethiopian government's been embarking on these incredibly ambitious development schemes, quite often funded by international donors. In 2011, then Prime Minister Meles Zenawi announced a massive transformation of the Omo Valley. He was going to become this industrial powerhouse. So he proposed a cascade of dams, some of Africa's largest dams, and at the time, 200,000 hectares of sugar plantations irrigated by waters from the Omo River. 90% of the water in Lake Turkana comes from the Omo River. So if the Omo River ceases to be a major source of input for Lake Turkana, the potential is that Lake Turkana could dry up.
Kenya will be a major customer for the hydropower generated by the latest mega dam, Gibe 3, already filling a vast reservoir. If these projects continue unchecked, scientists say that in 30 years, the lake will recede by 80 kilometers, drop by over 40 meters, and shrink to 2 small pools.
It's often quite surprising to us how little is known about these issues that is going to destroy the livelihoods of 300,000 Kenyans.
The Dasanach people amongst the many at risk. Originally goat and cattle herders from Ethiopia, over centuries they have moved southwards into Kenya, propelled by drought and population explosion.
Tuko na watoto wengi. Unajua tunasemanga tunasaa kama samaki vile inasaa.
Meet Mike, a Dasanach fisherman from Selisho, who supports 12 children and 3 wives with his catch.
Unaona hii inakuwa soft kwa sababu ya maji ya chumvi.
The Dasanach were not always so fond of fish. In fact, they once detested its strong smell and labeled all fishermen lower class.
Wakati nimeanza uvuvi, mama wangu huyu mzee ambaye kwa hiyo nyumba alikuwa atusikilizana, asema mimi ninanuka samaki na nakula kitu ambao ni kinyume ya Dasanach.
Frequent droughts, population growth, and land pressure mean that pastoralism is not a viable livelihood on a large scale.
Mifugo ni fulani lakini sina interest naye kabisa. Wale wafugaji asubuhi anaenda anafuata mali yake anachunga. Cha usiku mtu anaenda bahari wanafua. Hata wameona ng'ombe na mbuzi sio muhimu. Samaki ndio muhimu. Sisi tunafua, tunakuja kuuza kwa hawa watu wafanye biashara. After watu sasa wanapeleka wanaenda wanauza. Mtu akuja kuuza samaki, akipata pesa, anakuja ananunua nyama. Hii ni 250, hii ni 250, Hii ni 400. 400. Mama yangu ambaye alikuwa ananipiga wakati huo, yeye ndio saa hii bila kukula samaki siku 2. Hawa akina mama wanawake wangu watakuwa kwa shida. Mpaka wale watakuta samaki mahali huko.
In these frontier communities, phone coverage is sparse, internet connection is non-existent. Most people have no access to news on television or print, and literacy rates are amongst the lowest in Kenya.
Maisha habari inaendelea kuwa ngumu na hatujui sababu ni nini. Hata sasa tukienda around hawana habari kabisa.
Years ago, construction began on the Gibe 3 Dam without studying the environmental impact. When Ethiopia finally did an environmental and social impact assessment, it never looked at the impacts on Kenya, especially from the plantations. The manager of Ethiopia's Environmental Protection Authority said that criticism of the dam was based on ignorance. In any case, Ethiopian Electric Power Company went ahead and signed a contract with Italian company Salini Costruttori to build the dam. Activists have been lobbying against the Gibe 3 Dam since 2009. Local NGO Friends of Lake Turkana even won a court case against the Kenya government's electricity transmission company Ketraco, who were ordered to make public the agreements with Ethiopia and to carry out independent environmental impact assessments. Neither of these documents have been released to date.
In 2009, the African Development Bank commissioned me to carry out a hydrological study of the lake, and they were aware that actually none of the studies that had been done to date had even considered Kenya.
Before the studies were completed, however, the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China stepped in to fund the controversial dam.
Gibe 3, it doesn't consume water. What it does is it captures the water, it stores it, and then it releases it in a controlled fashion. It became very obvious that the Gibe 3 dam would impound the water that's flowing down the river to fill its reservoir. If you take that water out of the system, the lake must fall. So my study showed that the lake would fall 2 meters as a consequence of just the filling of the Gibe 3 reservoir.
Sasa yote mpaka ndani ya hizo mkoma were underwater. Since December last year, all this water has disappeared. So you can imagine how much water has been lost.
The Lake Turkana system is a natural hydrological system which responds to floods. The fisheries breeding is triggered by floods.
The rains start in southern Ethiopia in mid-May, swelling the Omo River and flooding Lake Turkana by August. The nutrient-rich floodwaters stimulate the breeding of fish, boosting the ecology and fishing economy.
During the filling period of last year, it had been planned to release an artificial flood to compensate for the lack of the natural floods that would occur. That did not happen. It wasn't released. If you remove those floods, if you stop that flow of nutrients into the lake, you will affect the ecology and the fisheries of the lake.
Fish breeds in all that area. So when this area is underwater, there's a lot of fishing activities. This area becomes a bustling village full of activities. Vehicles come, refrigerated trucks, vehicles collecting dry fish. Active fishing takes place there. So we have lost all this fishing ground. If you look at the lake now, you see one boat there, another boat there, another boat there. That means even the fishing capacity is still low. All this was water. Fish was breeding here. And now since the water is gone, there's no fish in this area.
We know from past studies and studies in other African lakes that a fall in lake level is always associated with a decline in fisheries. So there will have been impacts already. If you talk to fishermen around the lake, they will confirm to you that fisheries catches have diminished.
Sasa kama ingekuwa inapata mapato samaki ya kutosha, hiyo samaki kama sasa hivi tumepata samaki mbili, hiyo ni tuseme ni kama 80 shilingi. Sasa mtu anapeleka nyumbani shilingi 80.
Laki-laki ya, dulu kemeja nikah. Abua talaja putih, tapi kan nggak ada kayak nau.
Kama wakati wa kwanza samaki ilikuwa mingi. Hii maneno ya saa hizi imeleta tashwishi mingi kwa sababu wakati hakuna hela ya kwenda kutafuta unga, kwenda kutafuta mahindi, hiyo ndio tunakula kila siku, mchana na jioni, hiyo ndio tuna survive naye.
Iwe cha kwa ne pertero bule. Yoko na rapundera moja na rapuni anyuni yakane ke tupata.
Okay, wapi ya 100? Hii ni ya shilingi 100. Hebu lete tuone.
Kabisa Kenya inatufanya tutoe nje au mama wanatoa juu ya kukula tu. Juu kula. Juu sasa kuna watoto wa chima. Hii samaki ninalisha hata kama ni ndogo. Haya, 1, 2, 3.
The fisheries of Lake Turkana is currently underexploited. In market centers, there's always areas reserved for Lake Turkana fish. Many Kenyans know Lake Turkana fish has got a unique taste. Especially for sun-dried fish, people wait for it on market day from Lake Turkana so that they can buy and sell. It's known all over. The non-salted type has market-ready markets within Kenya: Kitale, Kisumu, Malaba. So the salted ones has a ready market at the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Kemfrey states that Turkana's potential catch could be 6 times higher than today's. That is 30,000 metric tons, worth 2 billion Kenya shillings. But other scientists warn that because Turkana's umbilical cord is now cut, fishing may be a lost cause. But other treasures lie hidden in northern Kenya. Turkana and Marsabit counties' stunning landscapes have rarely been explored by other Kenyans, let alone foreigners, except those who seek the rough and adventurous.
I've been visiting Turkana out of interest over 40 years. It's a fascinating area, incredibly diverse.
Ni wachache ambao wako na idea hii mambo ya wageni huku Lake Turkana. Unajua mgeni wakati anakuja ako na lengo fulani. Lazima utafute sehemu, kwa mfano Central Island. Najua nikileta wageni pale, mambo ya samaki wataona, ndege, flamingos, crocodiles pale kwa craters. Hii kazi inanipatia pesa ili usaidie familia, usaidie wale wengine wanakudepend upon. Wale ni pelicans. Hawa ni seagull. They migrate from here to England, back from England to Lake Turkana.
3 national parks that are World Heritage Sites, Sibiloi, Central Island and South Island, are found on Lake Turkana. The cradle of mankind is in Sibiloi National Park. Kenya has some of the oldest human skeletons and most complete hominid skulls dating back millions of years. Everybody can trace their origins to this part of the world. But tourism here is a mere shadow of what it could be. The Lake Turkana Basin is largely deserted with crumbling infrastructure and little investment. Traveling by plane or boat is prohibitively expensive, and it's hard to reach here by road.
Well, in 1972, and because there'd been no people in the area for many, many years, the wildlife population was extraordinary. We had giraffe, gravy zebra, rhino, buffalo, and 50 years before there had been elephant. And frankly, it's not a place I would think is worth visiting as a national park today. The wildlife is gone. Very few left. There is not enough grazing land in the deserts of Kenya because of the population explosion. And so anyone who's got stock likes to go to a national park because usually there's more grass because the animals don't eat it all. The reason Sibiloi is important as a national park is it could attract almost as many tourists as the Masai Mara. What you can do and see there if we got the wildlife reinstated and we opened up those museum sites on human origin could be probably the most important Kenyan destination. You have to build hotels, to build lodges, to build roads. But nobody else in the world can offer something that could compete.
But Lake Turkana's great tourism potential will never be realized if Kenya allows these waters to just drain away.
The shallow areas of Lake Turkana, those are the areas that are first going to be dried up. The islands would no longer be islands.
The fossil sites will always be there. Fossil sites love dry climate. It'll only be known for the fossils, nothing else. And that, I think, is a terrible tragedy.
An already marginalized people will fall deeper into poverty. Famine and conflict will increase, and hundreds of thousands of people will be displaced.
If you look at the Turkana, who are in northern Kenya, and the Dasanach, who are one of the tribes that are immediately over the border, there's a long history of insecurity, of cattle raiding. Dasanach areas in Ethiopia, their grazing land is being taken for different types of industrial plantations, and their access to the Omo River is being restricted, which means they really have nowhere else to go. So this is something that's driving the Dasanach further south. And as those Dasanach lands in Ethiopia become more developed, we would expect that there would be more Dasanach moving into Kenya and the potential for more conflict.
Vita yao ni kung'ang'ana mahali mzuri ya kuvua. Kama saa ingine ni mahali boti mbili na boti sita zinafika huko, nakuta wanakosana. Mwingine anaanza kuja weka net juu ya ingine, vita inaanza hapa. Pigana yao ni vita kubwa hata mpaka ya napigana wanatumia bunduki.
The region's climate will become increasingly harsher and hotter. Winds could spread potentially toxic dust from the newly exposed lakebed, poisoning people and farmland, even in the counties far from the lake.
Many of the impacts that we're contemplating are speculative, but we do have precedents because we've seen what's happened to the Aral Sea.
The Aral Sea in the deserts of Central Asia was once the world's fourth largest lake when the rivers feeding the Aral Sea were diverted to irrigate Uzbekistan's massive cotton farms. The sea began to shrivel up, marked by deadly levels of salinity that have killed off most of the fish and the people's livelihoods. Even closer to home, Lake Chad used to be the Sahel's largest lake, but 30 years of global warming, hydropower, and irrigation projects have shrunk the lake by more than 80%. The predictable result? Massive fish and livestock deaths, famine, rising conflicts, and forced migration. Since March 2016, a group of young Kenyans called Save Lake Turkana Movement have tried to bring everyone who cares about Lake Turkana's future to speak with one voice.
Lake Turkana is the largest desert lake in the world, and it's ours. It's Kenyan. We have an amazing heritage and we can protect it. There are 300,000 Kenyans that directly depend on Lake Turkana, and we as fellow Kenyans are the only people who can speak out to protect this lake. Just because the counties of Marsabit, Turkana, Samburu have been marginalized by the authorities does not mean that we as the Kenyan public need to marginalize them as well.
The people who are going to be affected have got to be identified. You can't just cut them off and expect them to look after themselves. There's got to be a process of evaluating the impacts, assessing what the costs are, determining whether there are mitigation measures that can effectively be implemented, and if there aren't, there has got to be a mechanism of compensation.
Experts say Lake Turkana can still be saved if the plantations are reconsidered. Alternatives to hydropower, such as geothermal, oil, wind, and solar potential is so vast, but for the people who depend on Lake Turkana, there is no alternative.
Itaniadhiri vibaya sana, vibaya. Sina kazi ingine ambao nategemea, ambao watoto wangu wanategemea. Sasa kama maisha yangu ni bahari na mwingine anataka kunimalizia maisha, sio ni afadhali nichinje watoto kwanza wakufe, alafu mimi hiyo shida inikute? Hiyo ni chungu sana.
Will we come together to save Lake Turkana? Or will we allow the lifeline of 300,000 Kenyans to turn from water to dust?
Okay, dear. It's really heart-wrenching, the documentary, what it's showing for the local people and how they are going to lose, like, their fishing. And so what do you exactly, mean by what does it mean, like living consciously for you? Because it's,
yeah.
Yeah. Can you just pick your mouthpiece, please, so we can hear you clearly?
Yes, I'll hold it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you everyone for sitting through and watching the documentary, which was produced actually, I don't know how time has flown. It was actually in 2015 that we produced this documentary. So of course, a lot has changed since then, and I'd be happy to share about that. And I'm sure it's been a lot of food for thought, a lot of self-interrogation, what have I got? What haven't I got? What's going on in this world around me? What am I doing about it? So to me, living consciously is really to in every moment, every second, to really interrogate, am I living in this moment in my integrity? Am I being conscious at this moment? So for example, if I'm speaking to someone, am I connecting to them deeply? Am I speaking with love and kindness and compassion? If I am, taking a trip hiking in the mountain or the hill, am I throwing my trash and not caring what happens? Or am I thinking about it and maybe picking up some trash and then later throwing it away? If I'm ingesting food, what am I eating? Can I think about what I'm putting in my mouth? If I'm cooking, what am I cooking with? What are the ingredients? Am I conscious about what has gone into making whatever it is that I'm eating? Where does it come from? So this, to me, this is consciousness. When there's food on my plate, how was it prepared?
Yeah.
Was it prepared with love, or was it prepared with anger? Because you feel it in your food. As I take in the food, with what attitude am I taking it in? When I buy the source of that food, what is that source? Is it organic? Is it not organic? Is it vegetarian? Is it meat?
Yeah.
And if it is either, what is the source of that? What did that plant or animal go through in the process of getting to the supermarket, to my plate? As I take it in, with what attitude am I ingesting this food? So there is so much to think about. When I go to the supermarket and I buy something, what am I buying? When I am with my family, how am I interacting with them? Am I meeting people at their level? Am I disconnecting?
I think so. You are having the network issue.
Or am I
Yeah.
connecting? Am I understanding that everyone's on their own journey right now? Sorry. Yeah. Which friends am I surrounding myself with? When I choose to work, what work am I doing? Is my work conscious? Is it helping people? And if I can't choose a line of work that is conscious, and I'm forced into something that's maybe not specifically conscious, how am I other employees? How am I interacting with my bosses or the people above or below me, which really is a concept that doesn't exist? How am I interacting with the people we're serving? When I'm on my spiritual journey, how am I interacting with that? Am I truly doing it, or am I bypassing and pretending to do certain spiritual things, but I'm not really going deep? I'm not really applying these concepts. Am I being true? Am I being a hypocrite? So these are just some examples of, to me, what it means to live consciously. So yeah. Taking a moment to
everywhere,
reflect,
in
if
short,
I
each day, each second, you are living consciously. Means, whatever way, however, what you are wearing, what you are eating, when you are with the family, and you are actually looking, in the deepest way, like, what is the source behind it? And that's how great, like, because even we believe in the way what you are, but still we are in a way, like, that, something happens, okay, we just do bypassing. We just ignore sometimes. So that's really inspiring what you are doing right now. And as you said, like, since 2015, you are in this. So that's quite really a remarkable thing. And I would like to know about, like, how did you co-founded it? Or, like, when you say about Conscious Kenya. So you are already spotlighted there because of the internet. Yes. Yeah. So we just want to know about, like, when you say you co-founded Conscious Kenya, what this movement about, and, how it is progressing, or how you are getting hurdles in it, and what is the aim or the goal of this movement?
Okay, so Conscious Kenya is the movement that I'm currently working with. And I think the co-founder is actually on this call. I saw him there earlier. He's called Edgar. And And so basically, Conscious Kenya is, I would say it's the culmination of my life journey in many senses. So I think living consciously and sharing happiness, peace, love, joy has been something very dear to me and close to my heart since being very small. And I think my studies and work since then has reflected that intention. So it started off with me working in humanitarian NGOs, and I got disillusioned with the imperialist nature of these organizations. And then I moved into environmental activism, working with some really great organizations like International Rivers, which is the organization with which we produced this, this documentary. At the same time, co-founded with a dear sister of mine called Wangeshi, this Save Lake Turkana movement, which was a volunteer movement of youth who are passionate about the environment and really stewarding and taking care of our resources.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And
you are saying something. Yeah.
This has been, yeah, and this has been very much in the physical realm, you know, really trying to, yeah, so environmental rights, human rights for this purpose. And over the years since then, my path has taken a more spiritual turn in that
Great.
I've delved a lot deeper into, you know, meditation, plant medicine, and specifically sound healing, because that's now an area that I work in as well. And spirituality was always there from the beginning. My father taught me how to meditate, and I've always connected very deeply and spiritually with nature, with the nature that nourishes us. And this is why I was doing work with the environment and still support it to this day. But now, as I delved a little deeper into myself with the help of the plants, of the meditation, of nature, and at the same time movement building, I think now with Conscious Kenya, it's a culmination of that. It's all together. It's looking to the outside world. How can we as a community come together, appreciate and protect each other, truth, integrity, love? How can we rise our consciousness together, protect the environment that is protecting us and nourishing us? And at the same time, how can we do this on the spiritual level and the energetic level? How can we heal our hearts and souls as individuals and as the collective? How can we support each other on our healing journeys? How can we elevate as a collective, both as humans and also as plants, as animals? How can we come together for this collective consciousness uprising? To me, that is the heart and soul of Conscious Kenya, and which is why I'm so passionate about it. Yeah.
I think, you know, the compassion brings, once you are with, you know, loving your environment, Mother Nature, and since you are activist also, and as you said, your father, because, you know, from your father, you have learned this. And so it goes, you know, simultaneously, the spirituality and because one should have that compassion, the love for the animal, each life, either it's a micro or the mammoth, but one should have that, and then only one can do this activity with the passion, with the compassion. Without that, one cannot. Otherwise, the person is just artificial if someone is doing so. So it's really amazing that, you know, what you are doing right now. And I just want to know about the documentary, what, you know, we have shared recently that, you know, it's you founded that environment movement for the Lake Turkana. So, and what made you to produce the documentary, and what is like, you know, sorry for it, the environment activities right now going on, how you are planning, you know, joining more people in it, and how the Lake Turkana can be saved. As you, in the last, it was saying like, you know, the 5th dam is going on right now, or maybe some people whom you have met, maybe you may not meet anymore. Why? What made you to say that?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. So this documentary was made in 2015. The dam was completed not long after that. Perhaps I think in the next 2 years after that, the dam was completed and is producing electricity. Does the electricity go to the people in the areas where the dam is? Does it go to the people along the river, from the lake? Not really. Does it go to the larger corporations? Yes. So this is very interesting to look at. Now, the other interesting thing is that, and this is one of the reasons that one of the reasons I'm very happy to be working with Conscious Kenya, is that I found that when I was focusing on this one issue, I felt like it was too small for me. Not that it's small in terms of the things that we were focusing on, and you know what I mean, like it's a whole lake and communities depending on it. But what I felt that is that we need to get to the heart of consciousness as a collective, because if we're just fighting against governments in one issue, we're not going to get anywhere. So we need to really get to the heart of the collective consciousness, and together as literally the entire world, increase our ability to think so that nobody is going to do something like this. No one is going to impinge on human rights. No one's going to form companies that, you know, are selling things that are immoral and are hurting people in the process. The reason I'm finding this very interesting is in my activist days, when I was literally just focusing on the physical, I often found that you will really fight for something and you'll take 2 steps forward, 5 steps back, 3 steps forward, 7 steps back, 10 steps forward. It's back and forth, and you're not really getting anywhere, especially when you're fighting against the powers that be. And so we needed to think of things from a new perspective, where we're coming from a space of creation, of dreaming up, imagining, co-creating together, love and divinity, and stepping into that rather than just fighting and anger, because it sent a lot of people into depression. A lot of my comrades have dealt with a lot of depression, have gotten into horrible habits because of this. And so for me, the work that we're doing now, it's a lot more widespread in terms of we're addressing different areas. So we still work with activists, work with the environment, but we combine holistic wellness. So we're looking at mind, body, and soul, not just fighting the powers that be. And the reason that I've also brought this up is in regard to the lake and where it's at right now. Something very interesting is the documentary. And this is why I'm saying you take steps forward and backwards. The documentary said that the dam is going to shrink the levels of the lake. Well, guess what? Climate change has come along. Rains are increasing in the area, and the lake is not shrinking, but it's flooding. And it's actually creating the opposite kind of problems. There's people who are actually in a lot of trouble because of flooding. So, yeah, and it's a marginalized area. The powers that be don't care about this area. So this is why I really deeply feel that we need to work on all levels, the physical level, the spiritual level, the individual level, and the collective level, in order to create the best space that we can for everyone to live in.
So how do you find the progress in the activity, what you are doing right now? The way you said, like, you know, since 2015, almost 8 years, and you are with this, the activity. So how you combine, like, you know, environmental activity and the spirituality, and what made, you know, people to join in, and how you have, might be, you know, you have drawn something that the points that you have worked upon, and slowly and steadily, you know, approaching the people, the local people. And as you said, like, you know, no anger can make it. So when you are, you know, just you have a different mindset against the power. So of course we are not throwing the anger or the frustration, but with the spirituality, how you are getting the success, and how you are combining, or how you are seeing the both in the one.
Yeah, so I think one large aspect of this is collaboration. Right now, what we're building with Conscious Kenya is a collective of conscious community. It's people who are all bringing their different and unique gifts to this world, and we're coming together for this. So it's removing this feeling of isolation, you know. So for example, if you have a movement of people who are maybe picking plastic by the ocean, and they, there's this one movement on this part of the coast, but they don't know that there's another movement, a few miles north or a few miles south along the coast. And now through a network like Conscious Kenya, we can connect and form bigger movements. So this is how I'm seeing all of this coming together. We're harnessing technology for good. You have little groups who tree plant. So now we're going to be bringing them together. And on the website itself, which is actually a social enterprise, we promote people who are basically sharing healing work, energy healing, natural remedies, small vendors who are, creating eco-friendly products, like some of the things we've been learning about this week. And basically a space where we bring together everyone working towards a more conscious planet, a more conscious way of living. Yeah, that's the essence of where we're at now.
That's so amazing. And it's really, you are so inspiring that, when even the name of your documentary, Water to Dust. So it's how those two elements makes a difference. And if, that there's the thing what you have said about the dam and how now, it has reversed, like, it's adverse, like, when getting more of the rains and now it is flooding. So earlier we were looking for, it should not, the water area should not get a drought, but now it's a flooded. So maybe the spiritual connect, the energy is also with you and making it more impactful. I just want to say, like, I want to ask, because we are just 10 minutes away for our session. So what advice might you have, like, for the average person looking, like, what we can do in day-to-day life and how we can more live mindfully, and what can be done better way? Because there is everything, every product, if we find, like from the toothpaste till at night and everything, either, though if I am a vegetarian, if I say I'm a person who does not believe in the non-violence or eating animals or anything, but still somewhere from the medicine or somewhere the product comes in, either to polishing the lentils, we use the leather, or to have the white sugar, there is the bone, like a charcoal, it's used, like, from the bones. And there are so many things that, the minute, when we are going deep, and we just cannot avoid, or either bypass or just completely stop the things. So what do you suggest?
First thing that, can you hear me? I think I froze for a moment.
We are able to hear you.
I would suggest. Oh.
We can hear you.
Sorry, one moment. Something has.
We can hear you.
Something's happened on my computer. It's making a noise. Just give me a second. Oh my goodness. Just give me one moment.
Sure.
My technology.
Sure.
It's just started playing music, so I want to make it stop. Okay, fine, I've done it. We're back. Sorry, the music started playing. So the first thing that I would say to any one of us who aspires to be a conscious human is, first of all, be gentle on yourself. Just be kind to yourself. And if you have that intention of living consciously, that's what's important. We live in an imperfect world, and that's just the nature of reality. There is good and bad, and we have to accept that life in any moment is never going to be perfect, not while we're on this earth. And that is the nature of reality. The good cannot exist without the evil. So first of all, just be kind to yourself. And if you've set that intention to live consciously, then just very gently take one step at a time. So maybe one day or 1 week or 1 month, you think about, okay, what am I buying from the supermarket? Maybe today I will decide to, instead of buying from a certain soda company that commits human rights, abuses, I will choose to support a small vendor that is creating healthy smoothies and kombucha. And that's one decision. Just take that and congratulate yourself for that. Maybe 2 months later, you'll decide to change up the cooking oil that you're using. Or maybe
we are not able to hear you, dear. Just keep the mouthpiece, hold that nearby.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it's my
No worries, no
internet.
worries. I can understand.
Yeah, maybe one day you'll learn that, oh, okay, this product is not good for my body, and so you stop using it and start using another one, or you realize I can't do it today, so maybe I'll do it after 3 months from now. Just take one step at a time. You don't have to do everything in one go, but just step by step and interrogate if something time with a certain circle of is not sitting well with you.
Yeah.
Give yourself time, slowly shift it up, go into yourself one step at a time, and just that's what my advice would be. And that's what I do. I know that I'm not living a fully conscious life at this moment, but every moment I try and interrogate, I try and shift things every moment, every day, and yeah, just take one step at a time.
So always be mindful and be aware of what you are using or what you are wearing, or go step by step. And definitely the advice what you have given, that will work for us. So can we start the meditation now? If any new member who have joined with us today, then I just would like to just give a little instruction. Just cross your legs, because we are doing an Anapanasati meditation, which has been taught by Lord Buddha, and where it's the most simplest and easiest meditation. And the healing, the sound healing will be led by Narissa. Okay, so just lock your legs, then just clasp your fingers and keep on your lap. And if you have worn the specs, just remove the specs. Just close your eyes, guys, and we will be in now moment. So we all are ready?
Tejulji, can I just ask if you can hear me? I've changed the mic to the computer mic.
Yeah, we can hear.
Okay, perfect. So everyone who's coming into the meditation,
yes,
I would like to just invite you to sit comfortably, sit straight, roll your shoulders back, close your eyes, and also to have a bit of patience with my internet. So in case the sound comes well, great. If not, just take what you can hear. But the whole time, just focusing on your breath.
Yeah. You are going to give the music, right? So I will guide in between if it is needed. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. So if you just come into a relaxed position, and I'll just do a 5-minute because it's almost.
Yeah.
It's
no worries.
Almost time. So basically through this meditation, effects of the sound on your state of being.
We are not able to hear you, dear. Maybe your laptop is.
Let's try. Is this any better?
Yes. आए हम ध्यान की शुरुआत करते हैं। जो जैसी स्थिति में है सहज स्वीकार करते हैं। आना यानी कि आती हुई सांस, अपाना यानी कि जाती हुई सांस, सती यानी कि आती हुई और जाती हुई सांसों के साथ रहना। ना कोई जप, ना कोई तप, ना कोई तंत्र, ना कोई मंत्र, ना कोई सोच, ना कोई विचार, केवल और केवल सांसों के साथ। शरीर शांत, मन शांत, बुद्धि शांत। Means inhaling. Apana means exhaling. Sati means to be with the breathing. Very normal and very simple. Be in the awareness, the conscious awareness. शरीर एक पवित्र मंदिर है और आत्मा जो देव स्थान पे बैठा हुआ है। सभी जीवों के लिए करुणा, सभी जीवों के लिए दया, the love, the compassion for each and every life on this earth. Last 30 seconds, आंखें अपनी बंद ही रहने देना। Just do the little movement of your body. धीरे धीरे अपनी हथेलियों को बंद आंखों पर रखिए। Just keep the palm on your closed eyes. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Open your eyes in the clasp of your palm and very gently, very nicely, loving yourself, loving Mother Nature, divine gratitude to all the living on this earth. And slowly open your eyes. Be in this moment. Just clap for yourself.
Thank you, Tejal, for the beautiful meditation.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you. We are really grateful to Narissa ji that, she made us, that because the part of the world, there are so many, we are just not aware where what is happening. And we are just living in our own world day to day, like, our family, our friends, and what we are with. But there are, another lives, they people, they're struggling. काफी लोग हैं जो आज भी अपने एक उसके लिए वो कितनी जिंदगी जीते हैं और मरते हैं. तो नरिशा जी ने जो भी आज हमें बताया कि कैसे 2015 से वो कॉन्शियस केन्या के साथ वो जुड़ी हुई हैं और उन्होंने कैसे अपनी लाइफ में छोटी सी छोटी चीज के लिए भी कॉन्शियसली लिविंग कैसे उन्होंने अडॉप्ट किया है. उन्होंने बोला कि क्या हमें ध्यान रखना है कि क्या अगर हम खा रहे हैं तो वो कौन से सोर्स से आ रहा है, भले वो वेजिटेरियन हो या नॉन वेजिटेरियन, जैसे कि उन्होंने बताया, या तो हमारी चीजें कहाँ से आ रही है, हम क्या पहन रहे हैं. रिसेंटली इवन आई हैड विजिटेड वन ऑफ द आउट ऑफ इंडिया, और वहां पे मैंने देखा कि कैसे मोती को कल्चर किया जाता है. और वो जब मैं देखा मैं बहुत ही सहम गई थी. कैसे रेशम, कैसे कोकोन को वो गर्म पानी में डालते हैं और कैसे वो मर जाते हैं कीड़े, और कैसे उनके रेशे से हमारा ये सुंदर सिल्क बनता है. तो ये सुंदर चीजों के पीछे बहुत सारी जो बोलते हैं ना कि अगली कहानियां हैं. तो थैंक यू नरिसा फॉर ब्रिंगिंग अस for to the environment and how to take care of mother nature and what we can pass to our next generations. So thank you so much.
Tejal ji, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
If I want to say something in one sentence, Narissa, as a resident of Kenya, we can say we are proud of you.
Even we do.
Yes.
At so young age, she has taken this. Otherwise, any of the person can, but at the young age, she has dedicated for this.
Yeah. And even Edgar is here now. Narissa?
Well, I saw him on the participants. I'm not sure if he's still there.
Okay, we can invite him also. No worry if he's not around. Edgar, are you here?
Hi, I'm here, but my video is not my connection is not very good, so I'll just do voice.
Okay.
Edgar, welcome to this platform. Edgar is co-founder with Narissa for starting Conscious Kenya.
Oh, so amazing.
So, yeah, if you want to change a nation, you need a youth. As Swami Vivekananda has said, you give me 100 youth. So these are our Kenyans proud. They are, instead of complaining, they are just bringing the solutions to the society, to the community, for whole nations. So we all are with you, and we will try our best to just we can just collaborate and we can spread the words what you are trying to do. And I think now we have to work on the kids, for children, because they are the youth of future and citizen of the country. So yeah, we have to work on children also. Narissa, Edgar, this is my request. Just focus on them, and I am with you in this case, like our whole group.
Yes, definitely. We can make her connect with Parinita also. So the swag moment, of course, because we in the spiritually, we have the groups who are looking for, taking all the aspects, like the way you are doing for the conscious living. Similarly, even we are trying to give our bit, whatever way we can. So we have the groups over here also. And definitely, we would like to have your presence in that there also.
So Edgar, please say some few words to our participants.
Are you there?
Oh, hi everyone. I don't know if my video is going to work, but
it's okay.
Great.
But yeah, really nice to see everyone. Thanks so much, Narissa. And it's an honor and a pleasure, and I hope we have more things happening going forward. Thank you.
Let me just say, Conscious Kenya would not exist if it wasn't for Edgar. So thank you so much for.
Oh, wow. We would like to say thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the kind words.
It's true.
Yeah. Okay, so Nehaji, can we wind up today's session?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much, everyone, to be part of this session. And really, we have learned something new, not new actually, but just to, how to implement it.
Yeah, that's important.
So that's a reminder. Thank you.
One more announcement is there for our participants. पूनम जी और मोनिका जी मंडे के लिए announcement. Poonam ji.
Poonam ji is not there. So, she's there. Poonam ji.
Yeah. Hello, friends. Yes, I'm inviting you all, same time, same link, tomorrow, Monday. We can have a session from Brinda ma'am, auto writing messages from Mother Earth. So it will be very wonderful to hear what Mother Earth wants to say to us and what is the message from her. So do attend the session for sure. And a very, very thanks to Narissa and all the members for